Testing 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, good afternoon, everyone. So I'm really excited about us launching our Chord Academy this morning. That was awesome. And I also like all of the feedback from the course.
There are those who factor and those who don't.
So to everyone who was on the live this morning, that's awesome. We have some people watching the replays, and you guys have all of your charts. And just wanted to let you guys know that I put a new chart. It's called the F Jazz Trio Blues Flat 7 and 9. And the idea with our Chord Academy, you guys know we have chords, and then we also have context. So every time you learn all of these new chords and these new formulas and things, we're going to, awesome Dean, we're going to make sure we put it in context. And as Dean knows, and several other people, is I can't help myself when I get into this teaching mode, which is almost all the time. I love to show you guys everything I'm working on and all the things we're doing together. And we have 7 people watching right now. So a quick recap, as I said in the title for the post to YouTube, is that we're still a cup of Joe. In other words, you can join this entire academy with everything we have for literally, right now it's $5 a week, so a cup of coffee. I guess a nice cup of coffee, but that's 2 lives a week, just like we did this morning, and all the charts. If you look at the folder we did this morning, you have tons of really cool charts, and we have really focused practice session, and you're going to be playing in all keys and learning all kinds of tips. All right, so here's the tip. This is just a fun bonus session to add on to what we've been doing this morning. Inside your folder, inside the Google Drive, is your Flat 7 Trio Blues thing that we just did. So what I want to do is give you guys context of how we're going to use this. So let's say, so this morning when we did our 13 chord and it wants to go to the 9, so we're in F blues. So this week we're doing that whole trio blues where he did all these really cool voicings. And now we're saying you need something to go with the left hand voicings. So right now we're going to do our left hand voicing. You have, go ahead and make sure you have the chart, but it's F13 wants to go to a 9 chord. And I called this the Flat 7 blues and the 9 blues, but as I've always said in blues or in jazz, if you're ever not feeling bluesy, go to the Flat 7 of whatever scale or whatever blues you're in. So in this case, F blues, and you guys know the blues scale, but you go up to that Flat 7, you're going da 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 dum, da 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 dum. Even that. Once you go to the B flat, you could do this. So you kind of honor that Flat 7 from B flat scale. So even this first one is giving us context. So the very first measure is the second measure, and then you have this. And right here we're going to do, that says C minor 9, C minor 7, which is actually C minor 9. We'll talk about that. And even this one measure right here when you're doing, what in the world is happening there? Well, we have a C minor, so the bass player's walking this. Let me just play an F blues to show you what we're doing here. So if you go F, 2, 3, and 4, and B flat, 2, 3, and 4, and F. Now here we go, 2, 5 of B flat, which is C minor and F. And now we're at B flat, and it goes to B diminished. And then you can walk this down to the 6th chord, and we have G minor for right now. Bass is doing his thing, and then we'll do what we did this morning of 1, 6, 2, 5, or like I did the tritone right there. But that one little lick you're doing, what is that lick right there? Well, from a C minor, which is C Dorian, to F13, and you're doing, here's your C minor 9 3-note voicing, and we're going 5 of C minor up to the Flat 7, and notice that then we come a half-step approach to the 5 chord, and that is Flat 9, that is F7 with a Flat 9. A very, very cool idea is to use your Flat 9. So let's put those 2 measures together. So you have, which is blues scale, even this, what's happening right there? I need to kind of back up and say that you have the blues scale, F blues scale, but it's doing something kind of interesting. It's coming down the blues scale, but then you have the minor third to major third, which we know is a really fun thing to do, right? Ba-da-dum. And so when you go to B flat, you could go minor third to major third as well. So anytime you're on these chords, this is just a very good thing that everybody needs to know, is that you give me that minor third to major third, and even B flat, A is surrounding that, called an enclosure. Ba-ba-da-bum. Right, very important thing to know. All right, now, Dean, if you understand what's going on, and Vicky, then put that in the chat that you're good. And we're going to actually go through this whole PDF, and I think you'll like the rest of these licks as well. And if you're just now joining us, we had a great lesson this morning. It was our first official Chord Academy lesson, and it was awesome. We have now, I want to say, with our iMusic Academy members and our new people, we had somewhere around 18 or 20 people, but some of those are Chord Academy members, and then some are already members of iMusic Academy, so we rolled all of those together. But we have about, I want to say, 10 to 12 new people that signed up for this one coffee a week thing. But I think it's really awesome and a great day. And we have people scattered throughout the world that are in this academy. So it's really awesome. Now we're talking, we went through the voicings this morning, so F blues all the way through, and we were talking about fourth voicings and how nice that is, and how you can use these voicings to sound like $1,000,000. These are pro two-hand comping voicings, and the goal is to use our formulas. We have flat 7, 3, 13, 9, 5, and root, and a 13 voicing wants to go to 9 voicing. So if anybody is interested in joining our group, then you're going to follow the link that's here in the description. And I always give you a shout out by putting your name. Well, of course, I'll give you a verbal shout out, whoever joins us as well. But I put your name in the graphic that shows you how many people are signed up. But there it is right there. It says, here's a sign up link if you want to join us. And it is a reoccurring thing that happens $19.99 for every month. But the amount of material and the live sessions and the community and the material is just insane. So I'm trying to make this affordable for everyone, but also I need more people to sign up, and we can really make this thing really nice. And today was a great day to start. All right, let's go ahead. And I'm not going to be on long, but I'm going to give you context over this new PDF that I added along with the other. Let me just pull up. Let me show anybody who's checking this out and they're like, what in the world are you talking about? So this private group here, I'm going to show you what, even the first day, what they have to look forward to here. And if anybody signs up, you get all the PDFs just like everybody else. This is not like something I'm keeping a secret or anything weird. So here, let me make sure you guys can see this. Okay, so you can see the folder. So this is the folder that everybody got to get today. And I continue to add to this. And we have specific goals for each week. Each week we have a focus, and that's what we will continue to do. The idea is I want you to be able to know these formulas, and also to move through this. We're going to do all this together. So we have The Genius of Barry Harris, which is in 2 weeks. We started going through that. It has drop 2 voicings and a cool way that I like to think about that. And so I'm very excited about that. And then you have, let me go back to one thing here. Chord Academy. And then we have the gospel tips. We did a little bit of that this morning, talking about the triads and using minor and major chords to really sound amazing for that. Then we had our 2-5-1s. And we do this specific rhythm, da da, 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and everything's always written out, and all the voicings as well. There are different fingerings for different voicings, and depending on what key you're in. So we did that this morning. We talked about that, and then there's also another version of that, and then we did the beginning blues sheet, and this is another thing of if you need context to play along if you're doing a C blues. Well, there's the first 5 notes of the blues scale, but also different ways to turn that around. So I think these beginning blues shapes, these beginning 5-finger patterns are great for so many reasons, because it puts you in a 5-note shape that no matter what you're doing in the left hand, it gives you confidence to be able to play in any key. You can take these voicings and you can learn how, I like to train how to play in all keys. There's so many fun things you can do. But once you get that, then you can start using these. I can play a C scale, first 5 notes, but we also know the trick of going down 3 half steps. So if I'm in C blues, I can play these first 5 notes, or I can go down to A and play the A blues scale. And notice how all that fits under the hand, and that's actually the A blues scale. All right, so enough about that for now. And then this morning, our main focus was taking these 4th voicings, and notice how I can go through the whole blues doing these really complicated but very nice voicings. We even talked about how you can use some tension in there and why that works. We had a nice little discussion on the diminished scale today. All right, now let me back up and finish teaching this lesson, and then I'll call it a day for today. All right, let me go back to the practice. Awesome. Dean and Vicky were on this morning, and it was a really fun group. Also, a shout out to Rick in Australia, and James commented today, and Jose was very helpful. And so these are some of our newest members of this academy. And so just a shout out to you guys. I really appreciate all your feedback. And here we go. So the first thing, you have this. We just talked about the flat 7. Anybody, whether you're doing blues, if I was doing a solo blues thing and I'm just doing boogie woogie kind of pattern, and we know that we could use the F blues scale, but if I'm not really feeling bluesy, I'm going to use that flat 7. So that's a great way, if you're not feeling bluesy, to do that. So then if I go to B flat, I could do the same thing. I could go flat 7 of B flat, and the same thing on C. And then, so you have the minor to major third and the flat 7. So here's your flat 7 sound, and here's your minor to major third sound. All right, that's no problem there. So the first 2 measures, you have this, and the second measure gives you that flat 7, which is from B flat, right? So we have, and we have this lick now, blues scale with the enclosure right there. That's your enclosure, and then you go C minor 9, and we go 5 up to the flat 7. To that flat 9. Isn't that a fun sound right there? And little fun fact is that with the flat 9, if you're on an F7 and you play an F13, I can play this right here, a diminished, a half step up, and all of those notes are for F7, but it also gives me a flat 9. If you just go up a half step and play a diminished, that's your F7 flat 9. Okay, and I'm going to show you why in the world that's relevant here in just a minute. Like, why in the world is he talking about that? Because it's about to happen again. All right, now measure 5, you have this idea. That's a little different, right? From the B flat chord, that's the 5th note, and then minor third to major third. We just talked about how that's important. And what did I do there? The 6th note up to the flat 7, and that's a great thing to practice by itself. And then what does it do? Actually, it's this: 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4. And so what is going on right there? It's B diminished, and I use kind of the blues scale, but I used a D natural, which is part of the B scale, right? And then I went A flat to F, which is part of that F blues scale anyway, right? So I did a little bit different, and then we did this. So then it's the F blues scale, and once again, notice that I did the outline of the minor third to major third. All right, let me just let's take a break for just a second and talk about why in the world why do I keep doing this little minor third to major third sound. And the reason is because with licks, patterns, ideas, there's something really nice about the tension of the flat third as well as the release of the major third. So if I just play the F blues scale, which is 1, 2, 3, thumb under, and so it's just 1, 2, 3, 4, come down, it's 1, 2, 3. So I'm putting two little segments together, 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 4. But I can also do tension, enclosure, minor third to major third. So, and I can go all the way up and down the keyboard with that same fingering, same idea, and just turn it around so many different ways, right? All right, so you have that to look forward to of, yes, I could just play the blues scale, and I go, or I could go, isn't that fun to be able to just go, or you can do this. And all I did right there is like licks from Blues Volume 1. Right there. And what did I do? Minor third to major third, enclosure, flat 9. All right, now I realize that this right now is what we might call a 30,000, 60,000 foot, 100,000 foot flyby. I don't normally teach like this where I say, oh, do this right here. Oh, minor third to major third. No, I would teach like this. C minor, and then you could go C minor 9. So I teach very slowly, very much in segments. Even one of my courses, one of my recent courses was 20 tips for 5-minute success. And the reason is I like to teach 2-measure phrases, short little patterns, short little ideas so that nobody gets overwhelmed. Right now is not really a teaching lesson, but just kind of a review from this morning of saying, here were the chords that we did, and now here are some ways to put this in the context. So what we do is I'm always going to give you something that gives you context of the chords you learned. So today's thing that I added is the F trio blues flat 7 and 9. And so that's why the morning voicings we talked a lot about F13 to B flat 9. So this idea of that gives you a solo idea, second measure, another solo idea, and then this is a little longer of a solo idea. Now the next line is another solo idea. Now here's the diminished thing. And then back to the blues scale with the turnaround. Now it gets to, this is going to be a lot of fun, so put your seatbelts on. Now you do this. All right, what did I do right there? I'm going to the 6th chord, which is D7, in this case, D7 flat 9. Now let's talk about how in the world why in the world am I calling that a D7 flat 9? Because as a part of this academy, we're learning about formulas. So a formula is when you say left to right in terms of numbers. To spell any chord, you have to know that particular major scale. So this morning we spent a lot of time talking about the way I like to teach major scales. I like for you to be able to say it going up and back as well, to go backwards so that you know the scale going up and down. So in this case, D major has 2 sharps, F sharp and C sharp. So you go D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. And you go backwards, D, C sharp, B, A, G, F sharp, E, D. And the way that I learned how to do that is a special way I like to teach that breaks it up into segments so you can really learn all 12 keys and easily be able to go up and down. And it's just a fun way to teach. But we do this so that we can then use our formulas. to spell any chord, you have to think of that particular major scale. So in this case, D7 flat 9, the formula is 3 of the D scale, flat 7 of the D scale, and not regular 9, but flat 9. And why am I calling that a 9? Because there's my flat 7 right there. And anytime we add notes on top, if we have the flat 7, it's called an extension. So we're adding that flat 7. So we have 3, flat 7, 9. So I can use that formula and actually write out to play a D7 flat 9. All I have to do is 3, flat 7, 9 of the D scale. And notice in my right hand, I did this. 3, 5, flat 7, 9 from D major scale. Right now, I don't know if you're still on, Dean, but I want to make sure you guys understand something that I already mentioned. I said to get the flat 9 sound of any of our dominant chords, like D7, all you have to do is go up a half step and play a diminished. All that is a diminished scale going up, and all it is the note above D, which is E flat, and we know that E flat diminished is the same as F sharp diminished, is the same notes, are the same notes as A diminished, are the same notes as C diminished. Okay, and that loops over and over. And what's so nice about that from a visual standpoint is I can play a D7 flat 9 and my right hand go up a half step and play the diminished chord, and that gives me the notes of the D7 flat 9. Now notice what I did there on that one measure. I went 2, 1, 2, 4, and then I did ba-da-da. And then I went and chromatically up. Chromatic notes help us get to chord tones in a really creative way. So now one way to practice that idea is the F7 to D7. We're going to go 1 and 2 and then 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Notice how I went chromatically up there. Isn't that a nice thing to do? Let me just check the chat and make sure we're up to date. If you guys are enjoying this, or if anybody else is enjoying this, our YouTube community, please say hello in the chat, and please consider leaving a like and a comment if you're enjoying this. Okay, so I would put those two together, and then the last part of this is this idea. All right, what did I do right there? I love this sound. Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. That D flat is another reminder of the flat 9. If you notice that my dominant chord on the last line is C7, and to get the flat 9, we have the third note, the flat 7, and the flat 9, just like we did for D9. And notice that you go up a half step from C, and that gives me the flat 9. That's why this awesome sound of this. That right there. Awesome, Dean. Glad you like it. Isn't that such a nice sound? Let me do that again. Or I could do this. I go. And then notice how I ended this. I said we can do this, and then I did flat 9 of D over a D7 sharp 9. So even on those last two measures, I kind of brought it all back together. Notice how we started off. I said if you ever are not feeling bluesy, not feeling jazzy, go to that flat 7. And even extend it if you want. And what did I do right there? Let me slow that down because this is so important to do. I could go dee-da-da-da, and I could slide off minor third to major third. Or I could just go without the slide. Or I could go, which is the enclosure, right? Or I could go, right? I could have a destination in mind that I'm going to go. fun little ways to turn that around. But the very end, I did this. 1, 2, da da da. And let's loop that. 1 and 2 and. And 4 and. All right, so many fun ways to turn that around. So let's just bring it all back home. We're about to wrap up this lesson, but man, I am so encouraged as to what's happening. Oh, Vicky, you don't have to do that. Not only are you an incredible contributor to iMusic Academy, but you're already a member and a member of the Chord Academy, and you made another donation last week. So that is very nice, and thank you so much for that. I have been really encouraged and surprised. I included a person or two into our Chord Academy today that just randomly gave a donation last week. And thank you, Vicky, so much. It just randomly gave a donation, and I'm always like just blown away when somebody does that. It was just a nice thing. And then a couple weeks before that, somebody else just did a random donation. So I'm always like hunting people down. How can I help you? Because you did that. Anyway, all of you, whether you get a course or you just hang out on the YouTube channel, I appreciate all of you very much. Yeah, today is my birthday, and a couple of really cool, fun things. I have a new light that I installed right here. Very cool. A new chair that I'm kind of proud that I put this chair together, And then I have this desk right over here that it's a stand-up desk, which is going to go right back here, and there's a whiteboard there. And so I'm going to spend time this afternoon putting that together. So I can't think of a better place to be than hanging out with all of you on my birthday. This has been amazing. And I'm really excited about our Chord Academy. And those of you who have been getting my courses, even my old courses, I always say that it's incredible material. At least I believe it is. And I didn't invent any of these awesome blues licks or jazz licks, right? I just am maybe making a few spins on the way things are done and have my own style. But I love to teach this stuff, and so I have old courses out there, and as you know, at iMusic Academy, I've been teaching all of my old courses and saying, hey, here's the lick I use here, here's the voicing I use, and I go through every lick in every course, and I say, if you want to get them, they're on sale right now, so you'll have the copies of them, and all of my PDFs, as you know, are interactive. So even in our Chord Academy, people are starting to see this. For instance, if I go to the Barry Harris, the genius of Barry Harris, I have my own style of how I've studied his materials, and I came up with my own way of looking at some of this stuff, and I think it's really good. I like it a lot. Like even this, in 2 weeks we do this. So like this is a D6 and a drop 2 voicing. So there are different ways that I like to think of how to organize this material and to teach it. But if you ever want to see how my PDFs work, you just click and it'll take you to your table of contents, and everything is always interactive. So if I want to go to example 1, there's the sheet music. If I want to go to the YouTube audio file, I just do that and I would listen to it. So it's very, very simple. Or I also have in-depth teaching videos on everything, and I teach things painfully slow. You guys know that, so that you will make sure I want to make sure you learn everything. Okay. So then, let me go back here. We're almost done. All right, that's enough for now. There was one other thing I was going to tell you, and I need to go back to this comping voicing really quickly. Give me one second. I wanted to make sure I gave you guys context on something that I just played. Here it is. Okay, so this is the PDF that we were just doing. The turnaround here is F13 to D7 sharp 9. Remember, to sharp a 9 is to is to raise it by a half step. And the reason this is important is because we've been just talking about the flat 9 as well, but I just did the sharp 9 and a flat 9, so it's a really fun sound. 1, and a fun trick you can do, and we did this morning, is you can do 1, 6, there's my D7 sharp 9, my altered voicing, and instead of playing G minor, which works great, you can also come down by half steps. All right, and let's do this to end this lesson. Well, I tell you what I was going to do is just play along with the backing track, but for the F jazz blues. But I'll let you guys go to any backing track on YouTube and do that. Can you play? Hold on a second. Let me see what Dean said. Can you play straight through one time? Oh, you talking about the PDF that I just did? This one. So we're gonna go. Sorry, I messed up that. 2 and 3 and 2 and let's do it one more time. 3, yeah, that's very cool. You're welcome. So Dean, you're going to take those ideas, and what I tell everyone is each one of these ideas is meant to learn and then to make it your own. Like, Dean, you know that this first measure, I could go, all right, let's do that on B flat. What about E flat? Where would I go? Oh, that's a flat 7. And you could go around and go around through all the keys doing the same thing. All of those licks should be transposed. All right, thanks for a great afternoon. I've had a blast hanging out with you guys. Get ready, because I'm going to take a picture of this desk when I get done with it. It's going to be awesome. Vicky, thank you so much for your generous donation, and a shout out to David. We have a new David that I gave access to today. He bought all 3 versions of the old courses, and so very excited. He bought Blues Volume 1, Blues Volume 2, Blues Volume 3, and then I put him on our Chord Academy, because I did also say this is important as well, is that I said yesterday or the day before in a stream, if anybody buys any of my old courses, I'll let you try out the Chord Academy for a week, and I'll stand by that. Because I think that's the right thing to do. Is I'm very thankful that you are getting my courses, and I just also say if you're okay with investing in the courses, you deserve to be able to check it out and see what we're doing here. So have a great rest of your day and weekend. Dean, always good to see you. Vicky, good to see you. And as we always do, you have 30 seconds to say goodbye to each other. And if you're watching this for the first time, please consider subscribing to the channel, commenting on a video, and reach out to me if you can, and just to let me know how this is helping you, and if I can help you with anything else. Have a good one, and I'll see you in the next video.